With Zerum here, I just wanted to do a commentary for the run to add some context and to fucking help with all the understanding bits and whatnot in the run itself, all the different techniques. So starting off straight away, the whole point of this menuing here is literally to pick the Wood Elf class and create a new class that is good with magic and good with jumping. So we're right clicking here to change our stats by 10 like you would in Daggerfall, and we're pumping everything that we can, speed, personality, and I would believe intelligence as well. And then dropping everything else low enough that we're getting plenty of points so we can spread it out across the rest of the class. The main stats we're going to be choosing here is jumping, destruction, and restoration. Now, destruction didn't really do me much in this run, and realistically I'd probably take it out of the routing now before long, maybe put mysticism there in its place. But the whole point and theory behind it was that restoration keeps me alive, jumping helps me run about, and destruction kills things for me when I need it. It didn't really do much for me though. So everything else is just so we can move, all the other skills are just there so we can move on with the class creation process and get a few more points to choose from. So I fuck up the menuing here. So we need to choose a few spells here, and after kind of thinking it through a little bit, realistically you don't need nearly as many as I picked. Cause damage isn't necessary. Cure poison doesn't actually seem to work, which is kind of bad. So there'd be teleport as well, which I only added in theory. The main ones I use in this run would be the jumping and the cure. Jumping to get around, cure to stay alive. I'm going to scroll through this menu here, go right to the bottom. It's always a magic restoring enchanted item, and that's going to be massively handy. Here we're going to choose 3 different things, right? We're 3 different skills, all the while choosing the right options to let us get those points to choose them. We're going to leave ourselves with swords. That includes spears and long swords, so it'll do us fine for the run. Rapid healing, spell absorption, athleticism, all for the point of getting through the run faster. Athleticism is actually pretty key, as we'll find out shortly, because it boosts your speed and your jumping distance significantly. So straight away, what we need to do on this for each level of Battlespire, of which there are 7, you need to complete these objectives. And the objectives vary differently, from gathering these several items to just making it to the end of the level. Usually the game would expect you to venture around and understand the story a bit more, and that will give you enough context as to what you needed to do. Context here is trying to do a skip. It didn't work, so I go for the intended way, which is, I suppose, something of a janky backup strat, which is go over here, push a button, wait for the platform to come down. But yes, so as you were seeing there as I was running down the hallway, jumping has to be probably one of the more integral movements in this, in that it just lets you speed along so fast. Like, here's an example of a password that you need that you'd only find out about through the story. But if you know it offhandedly already, then you're good. But jumping is probably one of the more crucial mechanics in the game. It's strange in that I think it's the only Elder Scrolls game that really behaves this way with its jumping, where that corn chip comes out of you and it shows where you're jumping instead of you kind of ad-libbing and freestyling where it's going to land. So you're going to see here that it does send you a bit faster. Now here I'm healing up so I don't die from the fall damage, and here we find one of the items we need to collect. The whole point of this level is just push a bunch of buttons, pick up those cogs, and then run to the end. That's all we need to do. I apparently have a hard time with stairs, which is very embarrassing. Yeah, this run isn't very polished, but how's ever. So, composing myself a little bit more, I can talk about the movement a bit more. Jumping, as I was saying, is the main mechanic, and the reason that we chose athleticism at the beginning was to make sure that our jumping and speed was augmented. Jumping is a little odd in this, is that there are a number of things that actually make it better. For instance, I pumped everything into speed in the beginning, right? In addition to the athleticism and the bit of strength that I had, that was helping me well along my way in jumping quite far distances. But if we were to go ahead and say not put them into strength and instead put it into agility, then you'll find that that will also augment your speed, your jumping in a similar way. Oh fuck, stumbled there. So there are a good number of little things to keep an eye out for when augmenting your jumping. And yeah, it's alright. It's a pretty good mechanic though, and we'll find some decent ways to really make use of it, certainly in the later levels where it's so wide open. And here even. Nearly fell off the edge, that's fine. This part here could be optimized a bit more. You don't need to push as many buttons as I did there, I think. So anyways, moving on with it, where the routing for this level here is to loop around. So we go southwest, and down that way we push 2 anchors, I believe, and then gather 2 to 3 cogs. We loop back around, push another anchor, come down here, pick up more cogs. Also, fuck this more. And it's all just for the sake of getting all the objectives done as soon as you can. We don't fight the enemies at these routes at all, because the game doesn't offer you experience. The way that you level up, it's very also conversation mechanic. Let me get back to that later. The way that this game levels you up is that once you complete a level, you are given points to distribute amongst your class. It's very, very strange. It's very unorthodox and makes the combat almost completely superfluous, where you can just completely run past it and there you go, you're good. I don't need to fuss about it at all. And that's what we do. So again, as I said, I was intending to use the destruction spells as a means of combat, but there's probably more effective ways. You're seeing me running around here. You're seeing me pushing enemies out of the way, nearly bashing into them and causing them to collide with the scenery. How I'm doing this is, there's a thing in the game known, also this is where the jumping really comes in handy, there's a move in the game called a special move. I don't think it's initially assigned to anything, but if you go into your options menu, you'll be able to choose what it's assigned to. I chose the right mouse button, and it functions much like normal attacking would, but it's a little different. One, you can only push upwards, you can only move forward with it, right? And you'll reset back to your original position after using, as you can see there. I kind of missed him several times because it wasn't close enough for the hit to connect. And it doesn't deal any damage on its own upon contact with the enemy. How it works instead, also, what am I doing here? I'm getting lost apparently. How it works is that it pushes enemies around, and in this game, collision with the scenery is fucking deadly. It's why it works as well as it does. If you use an area effect spell, or if, say, one is used against you, you might get knocked into the scenery, you might knock your enemies into the scenery, and that is going to likely kill them, or at least hurt them significantly. So, and because the move stun locks them as well, the special move stun locks them, you're able to effectively push them into a corner and keep using this attack over and over again until they drop dead. There's no way for them to realistically escape from it unless the collision on the walls is fucked, which often it is, or your aim is rather poor. So here's an example now of the level up, right? So we're going to jump through here, face these lads, missing half the different mechanics of the game that are displayed in the first level. And here we go. The whole point of this now is literally you just distribute your stats and you move on. So I don't really have a set pattern for this. The whole point of it, I just find, is just getting it done and moving on. The main 2 things to focus on are speed for moving faster and intelligence for better armor magic, allowing you to cast more spells before you need to stop and heal. So this level is a little awkward. Enemy spawns can be fucking deadly. In the first level, it's so wide open and free that you can pretty much waltz around whatever the game gives you. Also, accidental conversation. But if you should, in this level, good Christ, the enemy placements can be dreadful. You're going to see an enemy now in a second that's called the Spider Danger, right? And holy shit, there he is. This fucker right here, right? He is hella hard. He and all the other Spider Danger are so hard for this point in the game. They have these over time poison effects, which Cure Poison doesn't actually fix, apparently. They deal high damage, they're hard enough to kill. God forbid you try to take them on legitimately. So if your spawns are bad in this level, then they could just become terrible to fight through. This isn't the first attempt that I've made, and so yeah, this is the one that works, apparently, despite the problems that'll show up later on. So get him out of the way. There's a switch right here, right? You push it, you take damage, don't know why, but it's completely unnecessary. Battlespire has a very vague idea for what you can actually pick up, in that so long as it's near you, you can pick it up just fine. So if you walk up to a closed door or a wall or something, and there's an item just on the other side of that wall, you'll be able to pick it up. Press I, open your inventory, and you'll be able to pick it up. It's rather silly. So conversation, yes, no better time for that. So conversation is both crucial to the game and also it's crucial to getting through the game, because it does activate certain plot points and open key areas and such, but you can use it for benefits as well from just regular enemies. So as you saw, there's just conversation trees, and it's plot. It is what it is. There's nothing fancy about it. Get these items, bring them to this person. Get this item, go here, do that. It's standard shit. But with the smaller enemies, and actually, I will finish up on that real quick, just saying that there are very, very specific routes that you can take through those conversation trees that do work in your favor a bit better, just because they're faster. But yes, so you can also converse with the lower enemies here, but just the NPCs that you find, or the enemies that you're finding wandering about. And I apparently can't kill these lads. I've died in this room several times from colliding with the scenery. But you can converse with them as well, and it does offer you several benefits. Certainly if you're playing casually, like you'll be able to turn enemies to your side, you'll be able to get pieces of information that will help you find your way around. But, well, we already know where we're going, we've already routed this shit out, so we're just running along here and doing as we do, ignoring most of them. Occasionally the game will force conversations onto you, and in those cases it's trying to remember which conversation path to choose and then blazing through it as fast as you can. So occasionally, every now and then though, you'll get lucky, and there are places where you can get conversations where it'll be prompted, but sometimes it just won't. Like earlier when you saw the Vermai talking with me back in level 1 as I was going up to the Dromore and the Scamp to get the cog. It initially, right here actually. There's a chance that these lads will talk to you. There's a chance that they won't talk to you. It's better that they don't, but it's only a small time loss if they do. There's not much to fuss about. So, where am I now in the run? Right, so up here we're probably going to, in a short moment, we're going to come across one of the worst areas for lag in this game. But this is also where you kind of need to, this is where spell absorption, okay. Right, let me go over the abilities that I chose, right? So I chose 3 abilities from what I remember, right? I chose Spell Absorption. The point of that is that while my Magicka isn't full, I will take a hit from a spell, but instead of taking damage, it'll convert into Magicka points and I'll be given them. It doesn't work nearly as often as it should, and I swear more often than not I was just wasting my time. I may as well have just healed with items, so my inventory was so unreliable. So that was rather a bummer, and those points could be put towards something more useful. We'll see in time. Point number 2, ability number 2 was rapid healing. It just lets me heal more, and that helps a lot with survivability. Certainly in the early levels, I struggled a lot here to kill these lads. Then the third one, athleticism, you already know about it. Speeds up the game quite a bit. Oh dear. Yeah, this is pretty atrocious. And there's an example of where if your aim is off or if the geometry is off on the level around you, it can become a nightmare killing these enemies. Now the problem here that is, if you collide an enemy into an enemy, nothing happens. They don't take damage from hitting off each other. It's only when they hit solid scenery. So that was fun. But yeah, so sigils, right. So the whole point of sigils in this game, you have 2 different kinds of sigils. Do you see that blue thing just floating in the corner? You see it now in a second. What? Why can't I aim? You'll see it now in a second when I go into this guy inventory. But there's these light cyan blue pieces and letters that you'll find throughout the game, and there's 2 different variants, both of them mostly having the same kind of visual to them. The first are effectively keys, right? So the point of them is to open up gateways and access different areas, as keys do, you know, very standard shit. The other one is just a sigil. It's not a sigil of entry, it's just a sigil. And they're completely superfluous, only for the fact that they give you invincibility. They ghost you for about 5 seconds. So we use it every now and then if we want to slip past, like here, we want to slip past some enemies without getting knocked about. So we ghost ourselves, we go over, have a conversation with this person. It tends to run out during conversations, unfortunately, but howsoever anyway. So get out of there before they can kill us. That's grand. It's perfectly fine. Again, the lag here is terrible, 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 terrible. So again, the objective in this level, much like the level before, it was just collect these 5 items or so and then get to the end. Nothing special, nothing ever worth mentioning there. So, excuse me. Yeah, no, I can't think of anything else to think. No, I can think of something else to think of at the moment now. Let's talk about equipment. Right. So equipment in this, oh yeah, you can activate this from the back. It's quite fun. And you can avoid conversation with them as well by doing that. So we're going to pump points into intelligence here if we can, and then speed as well if we can click the button as well. I don't know why I didn't just press right click there, but whatever. So equipment. Equipment isn't anything that you really need to be fussed with most of this game, right? Because most of it is spent running around in the nip. Most enemies ideally won't be able to get a hit on you physically. Magical spells, or spells rather, will be hopefully tanked by... We're supposed to be tanked by your spell absorption, but apparently not. So just do your best to avoid them and you'll be fine. But we don't use weapons in this game because the special move is just too good. You don't even need to fuss about it at all. Also, we're going to kill this guy here so we can get a sigil of entry off him. Otherwise, we can't progress to the rest of the level. And while we're at it, we pick up the regular sigil there for etherealness. Did that on a whim. We need to pick this up as well because, well, we're going to be underwater. We'll die otherwise, and your breath runs out while you're in your inventory, so it's massively important that you do have your water breathing potions there so that you can do things at pace instead of rushing and dying. But yeah, no, inventory, as I said, you will pick up one item at the beginning of the game when you're doing your menuing at the start, which is your class. You're going to pick the magic restoring item, and then that's going to be enough for you to start with. It'll restore your magic, it'll keep you alive when you need it, and that's going to suffice you for most of the game. You'll pick up potions as well to alleviate the stress on yourself, and you'll pick up one or two weapons throughout the story just for the sake of the story, which come kind of in handy, I guess. Not really. Oh yeah, enemies can kill themselves, that's fine. So we're hopefully not going to click that guy there. I don't even need to do this. If I were to use the jump spell straight away, what I could have done is what I do right here is just jump across. I didn't need to push those two at all. So notes for later. But yeah, here, catching up with myself again. Swimming mechanics. So we jump into this because initially, unless you have a wall to grind against, swimming isn't particularly fast. But if you can trick the game, now my understanding of this is if the game thinks you're walking underwater, it will speed you up phenomenally. It will add, I think, your walking speed, your swimming speed, or something anyways. I don't know the specifics of it, but it's almost as if you're running on the water. So by pushing up against a wall, by kind of slightly clipping into the scenery a little bit, depending on where you are, you'll see more of that in level 4. I think you'll be able to speed up your process underwater considerably, and it really makes better use of your water breathing potions, which you can see the breath meter on the right there. And that's going to actually carry over into level 4 while we have it. But yeah, so the objective in this level, catching up with myself again, because well, really it's not important, is you need to pick up these sticks and get to the end of the level. Again, nothing special. This guy has a sigil key on him, so we need to kill him as soon as he dies. That'd be great. Again, the scenery being a bit awkward. Going to pick that up there. I didn't need that. I really should be a bit more considerate in my routing, but we're going to go over here, hopefully avoiding the enemy. You can try and hover over it and press the space bar to open up your inventory, but if you walk up close enough to it, you press the I button, then you'll be perfectly fine. It'll open the inventory. It'll be there for you to pick up as if you clicked it from the overworld, so it's fine. Once again, we're going to try and press the space bar. Would have been faster again if I just pressed the I button or open my inventory, but howsever. So struggling here, apparently. And another one just here. Do I do the I button? Yeah, I do. Just like that. There you go. Simple as. So push this button, go down here. This one's a bit weird. This area's a bit weird because the enemies are so violent that they can knock you out of bounds. It's very uncomfortable. Out of bounds isn't something that's usually prominent in this game. Not for tricks at the moment anyways. I can't find any. I haven't found any that actually work. But it's fucking terrible when you get knocked out of bounds. You will have to reset effectively or load to an earlier save. And it happens and it's terrible. But here our jumping skill comes in handy again, where we're just jumping over the building to get to the switches. We need to push, jump back on top, put the pole in place, and then we go here. We ideally, I can't spell apparently, so while the enemies are all around me trying to kill me, I put up a, oh god, and I ghost myself effectively. Try to, and then I go through, type in the password, go through. And intelligence is at 99 last round. We're going to have max magicka for the rest of the run, I believe. So level 4, what's this one? Ah, this one, yes. Okay, so we're going to jump past this guy. Try to jump past this guy. Jumping here is going to get us through most of this room. And it's going to speed us up just a fair bit more so we don't have to worry about it. Land on the platform there. That's going to carry us up. Jumping is usually more effective in places because, one, if you do it over a long enough distance, it'll speed you up, as you'll see in this level, hopefully a bit more. Probably here, actually. Oh, wait, no, I'm diving. Never mind. And then, just for when you don't want to meander around things, I apparently forgot that I need to go east here, so that's rather fun. But here's another perfect example of where grinding up against the wall is going to speed you up. So watch this. And if you're listening close enough, you'll hear footsteps playing. That's why I think that you're running on the water. You'll hear that footstep sound. So the objective in this level is to just push a bunch of switches, get more keys. It's very rudimentary shit. None of the enemies, most of the enemies really don't matter. I was trying to narrow that corner that guy against the barrel there, but I missed him, so it becomes a real chore of chasing him around. Fun stuff. I do manage to catch him in the corner before long, though. Before long, I say it's taking long enough. And there we go. And he's dead now. I didn't even need to fuss about the Dremora in the background. So we pick up the key there, and we pick up more necessary shit. We're going to run over here. 2 different potions in this game that we mostly want to focus on. Probably 3, actually. There's Cure Health, which cures your health, restores your health. There's Restoration, which gives you back your MP. And then there's Etherealness, which ghosts you for a short bit, makes you invulnerable to all your enemies. And you phase through them as well, which is quite nice. So again, running along here is quite fun. And the route in this point is again, trying to optimize pushing all the switches as we need them and as we're crossing them. But, hey, we missed one! Aren't we fucking terrible at this game? So, yeah, no, as I said before earlier, there's a lot of room for improvement here, and this is actually just really embarrassing. Because I ran right past it. After the first room that I went in there with the Fire Daedra, if I jump back into the water, and they drown here too, that's fun. If I jump back into the water and pretty much swam directly across, I would have found him. I would have been here, like, so kind of obnoxious. So we're going to use jumping here to actually try and get up this stretch here faster. I could have maybe held it down for a bit longer, but I'm going to jump over here, save me just a small bit of time in running, and I get out of there before the Fire Daedra can actually hurt me. Oh yeah, gliding on the ceilings is something you can do as well, and you'll see it quite a bit throughout this level. Jumping is, as I was saying earlier, is influenced by a few different stats, like your strength and your agility. If you lower your strength more, you'll find that, or if you fidget with it more, you'll find that there's sort of a sweet spot, certainly for this level, where you can jump down these hallways, full long jumps, but you do not hit the ceiling. And I don't know if that's faster, it probably is by a small bit. I'll see it down here before I forget. And there's a water breathing potion here as well, so we take that so we don't die. And also this is another terrible area for going out of bounds, because terrible level geometry, it's fun. The game doesn't handle angle as well, apparently. But yeah, there are a few points later on this level where it's a bit of a sweet spot if you hit the ceiling or not. Don't know if it's faster. I haven't really tested it yet. I'm uncomfortable enough with the routing at the moment that I don't really feel fussed about it. But maybe soon. Excuse me. So these enemies are fucking terrible. So we don't even spend any time entertaining the notions of fighting them. There's no real edges to push them against. There's far too many curves on the edges that we can push them against. So we're going to jump through here as fast as we can. We're not nearly close to being well equipped to dealing with these enemies, even when playing the game casually. By the time you meet these enemies, you will not be ready at all. These enemies are so fiercely hard. It's just ridiculous. You should be finding these levels 6 and 7. The winged women there, and just women there as well. They're rather hard, so we avoid them altogether, much like all the enemies. But there's a better reason for it other than just it's a waste of time. We will fucking die if we fight them, so let's not. So here's me trying to make better use of the jumping. You're going to see here I'm just going to completely overshoot this stairway here because I charged it down fully. That's fine. The enemy, I'm not sure if there was one there, doesn't get me. Hopefully we can avoid a conversation with her. That's good. Every now and then, as you saw just there when I was running down that hallway, you might have seen me trying to run diagonally. Running in this game is a little weird. Movement in this game is rather weird. I don't even know where to begin explaining it. I think, right, so the idea behind it there was running diagonally like it would in Morrowind will give you speed. It would augment your speed by kind of mixing your sideways speed and your forward speed together. Also, don't need to talk to her. Run over here, hit the sword, splits the table, flip the switch, you're fine. Whatever. But the way that the game handles speed, I don't fully understand it, but I've noticed that if the game is lagging and you're moving, when it stops lagging, or maybe even during it's lagging, I can't remember, it will augment your speed. So if you can prompt lag and you can move a little bit faster than you usually do, say maybe by running up against something or jumping or whatever, I don't know. Or even maybe just lagging the game alone will be fast enough. You can indeed speed yourself up enough. or you can speed yourself up faster. So here I kind of like, oh, where's the key for this? Before I realize, oh wait, I have the key. I'm like, what? Where is he? Where is he? Before I'm like, do I have it? Oh, I do. That's dumb. Yeah, I wasted quite a bit of time here. So this part, again, avoiding the enemies as best we can. We're going to jump down these series of hallways here. I'll talk about that in a second. Ah, mercy me. But yeah, Battlespire is a really odd game. It is, as I like to call it, the first Elder Scrolls battle, or the first Elder Scrolls platformer. Also, fuck this enemy. Again, there's knockback on almost all the enemies' attacks, and it's fucking terrible. Am I going to hit off the ceiling here? No, okay, so apparently I hit that sweet spot where I won't hit the ceiling. Come down here, chat with this lad. The lad will, if he wants to talk to you, he will prompt the conversation with you as you walk close to him. But if he doesn't, yeah, you need to initiate conversation with him. Conversation seems to be pretty split down the middle as to whether or not you'll actually get the enemies or NPCs talking with you at a distance, or if you need to press spacebar or talk to them yourself by walking up to them and hitting the interact command. So he gave us a key, run through there. Here comes one of the probably more enjoyable bits, if done right. I didn't do it right, but it's a nice open space, and jumping is really useful there. Oh hey, first thing happens, get knocked off. So this is just a small little puzzle. Push the right symbol, spell dusk, whatever. Doesn't matter. Really, you just need to memorize the symbol. This fucker here is giving me some real challenges. If you push the if you push the wrong switch, you're going to take damage. So I ghost myself here so I don't have to deal with shit. I push the right sigil, hear the noise, and I move on my way. Realistically, just memorize them and you won't have to try and play guess with them like I do with either this one or the last one of the next three. I think it's not this one, but either way, it's easy enough to. Then you jump to the middle, flip a few switches, run through some portals, get to the end of the level, and you're going to see some more horrible platforming now in a second. Well, never mind in a second, you're seeing it right now. Not fun, not fun. But yeah, no. Running out of things to talk about now at the moment. I don't know. I'll talk about that. I like Battlespire for a short bit. I like Battlespire. Oh, mercy me. But yeah, no. There's a lot of optimization that can be done in this run. You're seeing it yourself. Like, right there. That's a perfect example. Perfect example indeed. A lot of this run's more. But a lot of the points in this run that can be improved is simply just being more conscious of what it is you're doing, actually looking where you're jumping, of you're gauging how long your jump is. Come over here, type dusk, it's nothing. And then even at the beginning menu, I wasn't too sure about what it was I was wanting to equip, or at least I was, but a lot of it was completely superfluous because I don't think you'll see me ever once using cause damage. It's just not necessary at all. But whatever. So we're gonna try jump down this corridor. It doesn't work, so we're gonna try and run diagonally a little bit. It helps. So yeah, there's an NPC there. We're going to ignore her. We just need to get to the end of the level. Plot significance to anything doesn't matter. Save here because this part is terrible. So yeah, here's another fun part of jumping in this run. Right, so jumping seems to have this second fucking mechanic to it, right? It's not fun. As you see there, the first time around, I completely jumped off to the side when I jumped, right? It was on an angle despite me looking straight forward. What the fuck was that about? So jumping is not only influenced by the corn chip you see kind of flying out of you, the arrow that you see coming out of you when you hold down the jump button, but also I think the direction you were last moving in. So let's say throughout most of this, when I get it right, when I want to line up a jump, I will run along platform, but I'll run forward first so that I line the jump up properly, and then I'll do my jump. I'm not zigzagging or running around. So here you can see as well that I kind of cop on to the whole mechanic. I'm like, okay, need to walk forward. So this is me. Oh, excuse me. This is me really trying to figure this out now, and it doesn't work. The platforming is really tight. It's really uncomfortable as well. It's difficult to gauge where you're actually going to land with the corn chip, certainly in more finicky spaces. And then I just wasn't too familiar with this part at all. It's painful to watch. It's really painful to watch. So enjoy for what it's worth. All I had to do was there's a very, very specific and clear route you can take through here, by the way. Also, I didn't cast jumping there. I don't know why I thought that would work. But anyway, yeah, if you land down there, it's just a massive time loss. It's, well, not massive, but it's painful enough. So I'm going to overshoot that. That's fine. I really don't know this bit. It's really, really annoying. But however, still a fun enough run up until this point. Do we land it? Do we land it? Hey, okay, so that's where the special move also came in handy. If you push up on it, you'll push towards the enemies. But if you push down, if you pull down on your mouse rather than push, if you pull down on it or press down, you'll, yeah, punch a code in here, it's fine. You'll actually like duck. It's really weird. Like, I don't get why that is, but that saved me there at that moment because apparently ducking like brings your feet down further as well. I shouldn't have jumped there. I should have just walked onto the portal, but whatever. Hey, look, more level ups. So all well and good. We pretty much maxed out all the stats that I care about right now, so I don't really fidget that long trying to figure. Okay, apparently I do. What am I doing? That was majestic. But anyways, yeah, so level 5 was probably the hardest one to route because there's just so many different ways to go. There's so many different things to keep track of, and you need to do it in a very specific order. Otherwise, you're going to lose quite a lot of time. It's a very open expanse as well, which is why you lose so much time. So starting off here, we need to pick up a few pieces of the Savior's Hide, and we need to pick up a few... Oh, I can't remember where they are, but it's keys. That's it. We need to pick up keys. So we're going to jump onto the boat here, dealing with the immeasurable lag. We're going to pick up the Curious of the Savior's Hide. We just need them to forget the plot. I don't know why she talked to me. She was well out of the way, and she nearly got me killed because your breath meter runs down during your inventorying and menuing. So this is where the jumping mechanic comes in stupidly handy. If you're using jump, you'll be crossing half the island in like one jump if you use it properly. It's great fun. So here's a fun little thing that I just made up on the spot. Jumping in through the window, although it doesn't seem to work. Oh, whoa, it did. Oh, it did. Okay, so I'm like, oh, that works. There's the key. So pick it up, jump down here, ignoring the enemies. I don't need to fidget with the platforms there at all. So here it's an angled wall and it has enough imperfections on the face of it that you can jump up along it. So we're going to go in here. We're going to try not to get blasted to shit. We're going to enter this underground catacomb here, swing up to the right, and then the northeastern point, I think, is going to be a few tombstones. As you see here, we're going to open our inventory, or we're going to open the box rather, and we're going to take the gauntlets of the Savior's Hide. Trying to find my way back, we're going to loop back to where we started, down along the bottom point there, and we're going to swing along the bottom left and come up in an arc from there. Avoiding the enemies as much as we can, easier said than done. Certainly with their AoE casts, it's kind of annoying. As most everything is in this game, certainly when it randomly crashes and soft locks, like you'll see in about another few minutes, I trust. So we come out about midway on the island. I was completely disoriented by this, I believe. So I'm trying to find my way out and trying to figure out what the fuck it is I'm doing. And I get ahead of myself, I believe. I go here thinking, oh yeah, I'll just go in here. But then I remembered, shit, I forgot to get the key from your lad back in town. So the first stand that you see there when you walk in has a few Daedra running about. You can kill one of the fire Daedra. They are more important in this level because he's carrying a key. Get the key, open the door. I forgot the key, need to go back to get it. It's rather obnoxious because now I have to kind of figure out where I am. And then I try this trick and I'm not scaling the wall at all. So I just give up before I get killed. Yeah, this level goes really bad, certainly when the soft lock happens about a few minutes later. So come back in, and the setup as well is really good when you first start off, right? Because he's right there. You can pin him straight up against the wall, and you can kill him straight away. But no, because he has a chance to move, he makes my life a bit more difficult. So try and push him into this corner. Manage to squeeze him in between the wall and myself. Great, he's dead. Take the key. We can be on our way. We don't need to worry about anything else. Don't need to go into that tower there, no one cares. So we look at the map again, get a better sense of where we are, and we continue bouncing along our merry way. We're going to use jumping here to enhance our jumping. You can see there, the speed that we're getting is quite a bit faster than our walking speed, and it's covering a lot more distance. We don't need to worry about the ups and downs. So here's another case of where if you just press I, you'll be able to pick up the key. Normally you'd have to wait for that pillar above it to rise, but if you walk up to the podium, press I. Hey, there you go. Picked it up. Same case here. Don't need to look down and press space. You just press I while standing near it, and there you go. Massively convenient. Saves quite a bit of time. Saves a lot of fuss as well. So here's probably one of the more crucial or one of the more potent areas when regarding what I call blank spots, right? So every now and then, certainly in this level, you'll see me just randomly jump up. And you saw it a bit in the last level as well, where I just jump up maybe once, maybe twice in a row. And I'm using ethereal here so I don't have to deal with his shit. But that's because the game has these squares, these spots, I don't know what it is, but at random points in the map, if you try jumping, you'll just, the game will think that you're already in the air, or you already let go of the jump button, so you'll just jump straight up in the air. No momentum moving forward, no nothing really. It's actually rather terrible. So this point can be a nightmare. Though, oh yeah, we just got knocked out of the window entirely. That's exactly how bad they can be. So that's why etherealness and ghosting yourself is massively important there. So the reason that I save here is because those platforms are on a global timer. When you activate them, they'll just continue on their own way, regardless of whether you're in your inventory or whatever. They just do their own thing. They don't care. So the whole point and idea of it was save the game while the platform's moving. Didn't move that much, but it's fine. It's fine. I tried picking these up before the danger comes along and starts fucking with me. So I'm like, okay, moving on. I guess not. What did I forget? Where am I going? Okay, now I'm lost. Jesus, game, where are you going? I didn't even look where I was going. Oh, that's fucking bad. Oh wait, no, okay, I was going over here, was I, to pick up the greaves, maybe? Okay, yeah, picking up the greaves, that's grand. Still, so the whole idea and the actual thought out route that I have here is you come up here first and then you jump onto one of the top of the towers. Kind of like that there, except you land on top of the tower and then you can deal with the enemies accordingly. Excuse me. That's another point where the enemies can actually screw you over tremendously. Their spawns are random. Sometimes you get one enemy in the tower, sometimes you get none, sometimes you get two. It's really bad when you get two. It's just, they can soft lock you there. They can clip you into the scenery, and if they do, then good luck. Good luck to you, my friends. I think that's actually what happens in the short bit. Either that, I just botch up my jumping, but I'm glad I saved anyways. So pick up the key there, and we're going to run back out. All well and good. No fuss, no harm. So yeah, landing in the water also deals fall damage. Bit of an unusual mechanic, certainly, where in Skyrim that you can take 100-foot drop, land in a foot of water, and be perfectly fine. So now we're going up to. I just realized I haven't explained a single thing about this story. So the general gist of the Elder Scrolls Battlespire is best summed up as, in around the events of the first game, Mehrunes Dagon helped Jaeger Tharn, I think, take over the Empire and replace the Emperor and become a doppelganger, effectively taking over his aesthetic and everything. So Dagon came here then, Mehrunes Dagon came to the Battlespire and effectively fucking destroyed it nearly. So that nobody would really know that Tharn had taken place of the Emperor. So our job as an apprentice of the Imperial Battle Legion, is to go in, and we're an apprentice, by the way. It's a very odd thing they didn't trust to do an apprentice, is go in, unfuck the entire situation, and then be on our merry way. So that's what we kind of do. They sent in someone else before us, apparently, and as the game progresses, you're getting messages from this person before you ultimately find out that this person has been kidnapped and is being held captive by Mehrunes Dagon, the main villain of the game. We'll see him before long. Also, yeah, this bit is terrible. So that's the general plot of Battlespire. You finish the game, spoilers, you finish the game, the entire place falls apart because Mehrunes Dagon falls apart, I guess, I don't fucking know. And also, yeah, that's really annoying. Okay, so when you're ghosted rather, the only thing that can hurt you is the splash damage of the AoE cast that the enemies are doing. And it's in this situation where you're coming up against endgame enemies and about the end of the mid-game, it's pretty fucking mean. And it's pretty difficult to deal with as well. It's perfect reason as well why healing is so important. Throughout the entire run, you've seen me healing almost non-stop. Whenever I took damage, I healed more or less. And so the whole point of that is just to make sure that I don't bloody die. Dying, oh my god, dying is so costly in these runs, right? If you die, you go through a little cutscene of where the game is like, good news, you're dead. Bad news, you're never going to see anyone again. But then the game fucking reboots itself, and you need to load your game. That's why saving is so important in this speedrun. If you don't save, then you're going to have to start the entire run all over again. It's just tragic business altogether. So that's why the healing is so important. It's why ghosting is so important. Keeping alive it's not only just a good practice and a good way of getting the speedrun done, but it's also a good way of saving time. Because if you die, that's quite a bit of time just lost, just poof, gone. It's quite tragic, is it actually? So Also, good God, I'm bad at this game. North, you fucking tit, north. Jesus Christ, this is also another place where the jumping comes in massively handy. Use the jumping spell, you're able to clear this chasm no fuss. You don't even need to wait for the drawbridge to drop down. You're just like, hey, yeah, that's cool. Across we go. And we'll be on our merry way. And we have to deal with these fuckers. So I think it's actually on one of these buildings that I get stuck. I don't know. So we go in here. We're trying to put up etherealness, but hey, not great. This is a situation as well where at the beginning of the game, the item that you get that restores your magic, or has the enchantment to restore your magic, is actually random. So it could be a sword, a bow, staff, piece of clothing, and you almost want it to either be a staff or a piece of clothing, just because it's so much more convenient because you can equip it to your character and it's there staring you in the face whenever you open your inventory. If you were to save a class, then yeah, you could use that. Excuse me, if you were to save a class, then yeah, you could use that to, well, it'll still have the same item whenever you reload the class, but I don't know if, I doubt it rather, that you could use preset classes. Instead, you have to kind of make the class again each time you start the run. Rules to define over time, doesn't matter. Also, yeah, ethereal in this run up a bit too close there, and hey, there's another thing I can talk about, failing spells. So anybody who's familiar with Morrowind, I believe, think Daggerfall did it as well. Oh god, you can fidget and fail your spells when you can whiff them entirely if you try casting them. Healing rarely ever does. I think destruction, same case again. Probably because my destruction and restoration spell, my skills are rather high. Also, this is terrible. I heal here so I don't die from the fall damage. But this is another reason why I want to put mysticism up there instead of destruction, because, or alteration, I can't remember which one etherealness fits under. But it'll help me stop whiffing the fucking spell, it'll lower the cost of the spell as well, and it'll just make it more effective use of that other skill, that other first place skill, or the major skill rather, instead of having to deal with stupid bollocks altogether. So it's in and around here, I believe, that the game decides to just go, yeah, fuck you, Nathan. So, well, that's my real name now you know. So, skipping through this, just hammering the left click button till the cows come home. He's crazy, it's fine, we need to just click through them. Eventually he comes to his senses, and I don't know what I did there. I don't know what button combination I pressed, but I fucking closed the game. Yeah, not fun, not fun. And this is what it looks like when you die, by the way. This is exactly what it looks like when you die. For the record, this is the Good Old Games version. So, there you go. You can buy it on there for about €5.29, I think, I don't know. But this is why it's so important to save. If anything goes wrong, if the game randomly crashes, if you soft lock stuck in scenery, which is a soft lock, I suppose, if the game just fucking kills you straight out, you need to be prepared for that shit. You need to know when it's best to save, I'd imagine anyways. Because look how much time we've just lost. We've lost a good, 10 minutes there, nearly. So the run could easily be about 15 minutes if it weren't for the fact that I completely whiffed this. But now I've got a bit more sense about me of where I'm going. Although I'm sure that I'm going to fidget and fuck it up a bit. I don't even bother to pick up the gem that time because it didn't really do much for me last time. I'm checking the map again. I'm actually knowing where I'm going now. So I'm going to run back to town. Or rather, run back to the windmill there, I think. Or am I going back to town? I don't know where he's going. I don't think I knew where I was going either. So yeah, go over here, pick this up, grand stuff, be on our way again. It's fucking tragic. It happens though, it happens. So, another 10 minutes to go before we're back up with ourselves. We've caught up with ourselves again. probably one of the quieter moments in this run because it's just so awkward. But you can see here again that the jumping mechanic is coming in handy. Randomly, as you might have seen just there, when I collide with something when I'm jumping about, it'll reset me back into the ground. It's rather weird. I don't know how to make it work. I missed the key here. That's fun. It's like you jump and you hit something, like part of the scenery is in, and so it just puts you back on the ground. I don't know. Also, I'm about to jump in the water here because I got too cocky. And there's no reason I can't just jump past them. And another blank spot there. Very fun. Yeah, again, there's a lot of room for optimization. A lot of room for optimization in this run. But I felt it was still important to churn out a run. Anyway, churn out is not the right word. Not the word I wanted to use. Not the term I wanted to use. To get a run done so that I could get the thoughts going. So that I could get the skills, the techs and the fucking strats and what's it called? Routing. There you go. That's the main word. I was looking for the routing out and about. Now I know the fucking Battlespire speedrunning community is pretty much non-existent beyond like maybe 2 people, including myself. But yeah, no, that's about it really. Hopefully it'll become something more because despite the ways that it can go wrong, it still is a bit of a fun game to play. I think it's a relatively easy speedrun, a little fidgety and a little uncomfortable at times, yeah, but it's still a relatively easy speedrun once you know what you're doing. And once you know how to kind of avoid getting killed and getting stuck in scenery, and apparently just randomly closing your game, get that out of the way, and you've mastered it already practically. Yeah, no, it's certainly better as a speed game anyways than it is just a casual game. Like the game it's not very well built. There are only a very small handful of classes that actually work in your favor for playing the game, and they're all combat or mage oriented classes. Thieves, good luck to being a thief. Don't really do too well. I don't even understand the fucking sneaking mechanic in this game, but it is what it is. Thieving is not very good to my understanding. The sweet Jesus, hand to hand is awkward as well. And then what else was there? What other terrible things about this game? Yeah, no, it's not much of a role playing game either, which is why I refer to it as a platformer. Because it is pretty much you're a fighter. You kill things. That is your role. You can't really be a diplomat because, well, personality does. There's not even a speechcraft skill in the game. There's no etiquette or street smarts or anything. There's just kill things skills or keep yourself alive skills. It's rather disappointing. But I suppose it serves the purpose of the game. They know it fits what the game is. Also, yeah, that door is a little confusing because it looks like you don't go through, but you actually do. You run up here, open the box, get the last piece of the Savior's hide, and I think that is it actually. And then once we actually manage to get out of here, running along this chandelier, see it be proud. But yeah, no. Now we go back to where we were with the old man, I believe, as this is one of the last places to stop. Even that, we have to run around the island first. We have to do that first. That's great. But yeah, no, as a casual game, it's got that kind of old school design, I think, just with regards to you're on your own to figuring out how it fucking works. And it's a hard game to learn. Like it really doesn't give you any indications as to what's best, as to what way to even level up, which is a very finicky thing in and of itself. What skills to use, what weapons to use. God, it just is kind of clumsy. And there's some attributes as well that I don't even think really impact much of anything. Like, I don't think luck really impacts that much of anything, which is why I dropped it to, like, 10. Ah, mercy. There was a point there I mentioned I want to kind of revisit, but that's fine. This is where I try using the cause damage thing to just push him out of the way, but it doesn't work. So I jump along here, fix myself, on my way. On my way. So, that's grand. That only took about 5 minutes to recover from. See how fast it can be when you're not so slow and shit at this game. So we're going to chat with this guy again, having lost about 5 minutes in the process for setting all of that, redoing all of that. So we're just going to click everything, and we're going to go on our way. So one small thing I've noticed is throughout some conversations, it's a consistent pattern I've noticed. Yeah, I definitely noticed that. Is selecting the bottom option, or second to bottom option in this case if it's lame. But Yeah, no, certainly a number of kids. Sorry, let me regain my train of thought. The bottom option is usually the better one to click, I've noticed. Like, if you're talking to Mayron's Dagon, picking the bottom one gives you a shorter tree, sort of shorter fucking dialogue tree, so it gets the game over with quicker in earlier parts of the game, like on the second level, where we had a small brief little dialogue in the room full of Spider Daedra, chatting with her as well. Choose bottom options all the time. Same with the small little girl as well that we met just before her. All these little things, you know, all these little things. And I'm here talking about little things saving time when I can't even fucking navigate my way through the game properly. But yeah, here's a bit of a unique enemy. I can't remember his name. Egohim? I think I don't remember. But yeah, so what we need to do is we need to find him. He's behind me there. I'm apparently blind, and you can only kill him with this particular weapon, right? So thankfully, the Spear of Bitter Mercy. Elder Scrolls fans, be aware of that shit. But you can't kill him by pushing him up against the wall. The only thing he takes damage from is the spear. Thankfully, spears fit under a long blade in this. So you're usually going to kill him in about 3 or 4 swings in this with this build anyway. So it's all well and good. Take what we need. I'm taking more sigils, more ghost sigils, because apparently I'm still one to be wasting time. Still wasting time trying to find my way. Northeastern end of town, Nathan. Right away, so we open it up, we go in here. So this bit is terrible. If you don't use etherealness here, you're just going to get battered about. So unfortunately, I botched getting up on the platform, so I have to go take this one, and I believe I'm going to have to recast etherealness before. Oh yeah, I could just use the sigil there, that's fine. And then the way to get out of level is to jump on this arbitrary. I don't get that. Why do I have to jump on that? That's such a weird thing. So here I'm like, alright, fuck it, just moving on. I don't know what, still not entirely sure what to attribute to each level up in this game. But the general gist of it is just intelligence and speed. Live longer, last longer, move faster. It's all well and good. So starting off this level, push this pole here. Don't know why I jumped there. Run through here. So we're going to jump from here right into the middle here. The idea was to jump in the middle there. We're going to push these 2 buttons here, one on either side. Those open to gateways that we'll be visiting in a second. So then we're going to run down here. We're going to push some drums, I believe, if we can get past the AO. Like, look at the top left. Those are stacking fast. Push this here. And one small skip that I tried doing here is you can jump behind that fortress wall there, that gate, I guess, and you can sort yourself out handy. So the main strat here, or you can just skip through it anyways instead of being big, sort yourself out handy. The fuck does that mean? So the main strat here that I only figured out through this run actually is not to try and kill him like you would most every enemy, since he's apparently very fond of floating. You instead let him kill himself, because the AoE spells in this game can hurt enemies as well. Maybe once or twice throughout the game so far, you've seen enemies kill themselves. You've just seen spells going off behind me, and then you saw a little subtitle pop up on the top saying such and such just died. So we need to kill him because he has a key on him. We're going to take this elevator here. Elevators are rather finicky in this level. Another place that you can go out of bounds. And if you go out of bounds, the wall is solid on both sides. And yeah, no, this is exactly where the elevators can be finicky. Because like it just fucking trying to get out, the enemy's right there. I accidentally triggered it again just because like I'm not touching the floor when it stops, and then I am touching, or I stop touching the floor of the elevator, then I start touching again, so that triggers it. But yeah, no. Enemies are just fucking annoying. So chat with this guy. Again, choosing the bottom options, as I mentioned earlier, and then just flying through the conversation. Should have waited until I got the other 3 keys there, the other 2 keys to open or to activate that. Saved a little bit of time, but that's fine. But yeah, so enemies are rather special things in this game. And yeah, this is another case as well where you can get caught in the scenery. Jumping is a dodgy thing, because you can get caught in little bits of scenery just like that, and it's terrible. So we're going to heal ourselves a little bit here. So the reason that the strat getting through the gate earlier didn't quite work is because, see that winch just there? The one I'm looking at right there? Yeah, that you can just push that, and it opens the gate. It's rather stupid that I didn't just do that. The idea of it could still work in theory, where I push the gate and then slip in, or push the winch there, activate the winch, go in behind the gate, and then when by the time I come back, because everything's on something of on a sort of universal timer, it'll be down by the time I come back. Seems perfectly feasible, but sure, whatever. So is this the bit? Nope, this is the bit with Zivalai Moath. We're going to talk to him. Yes, thank you. Bottom option. Hammer. Oh wait, that wasn't the right one. What's the second bottom option, I wonder? Yeah, fucking enemies are terrible. Ah, that's the middle one. Yeah, cool. Okay, so never mind the pattern. It already does the burials, but whatever. So slipping through here. This is probably one of the shorter levels, thankfully. Like, we've only been in here about 3 minutes. And it's coming to an end. We'll probably be done the next 2. Foregoing any bad skills on my end, which is not a guarantee. I can't promise anything. Oh, mercy. But again, jumping is another good way of getting around. It helps you with the vertical elements as well. Jumping up there, jumping over the fence, a little gate there. So I believe I'm killing him for the sake of convenience. I think he also has a sigil on him, which is going to help amazingly as well. Yeah, I'm going to take that just so I don't... And I suppose the benefit to picking them up from dead enemies is I don't need to fuss that much. So we need to kill a specific clan fear in here. Not that one. I think it's that one anyways. Much to my mistake. It's the other one in here, right? So it's this one down here. Head into the room, go right, and there he is. So we thankfully catch him on the scenery pretty quickly. The enemies aren't able to do that much damage to us, apparently. We pick up what we need, we go. So that's the west one that we went into there, I think, or the east one, I don't remember. And then, I don't know. Figure it out for yourself. And I'll post a more detailed, I can post a more detailed routing when I actually remember how to play this game. So again, choosing bottom option, kind of nice, doesn't really hold, but whatever. Oh wait, hold on, no, that didn't work. Okay, never mind, I'm going to shut up now. But yeah, so you go through the dialogue options there. You go to her after. No wait, actually, it doesn't matter which way you go to them. I think, but whatever. You go to her, get the little key, and there you go. You're gonna leave. Activate the mirror. Back home we go. So we're gonna go back to the fortress. We're gonna activate the door, or slip in behind it again. Actually, I don't know which. And we're just gonna activate the portal to get out of here. Again, it's a rather short level. It's only about 5 minutes. Casually, it's probably one of the harder ones because the enemies here are, like, they're endgame enemies and they're fucking tough. And if you're not leveling up optimally, they're fucking hella tough. But yeah, so, I don't know what that is in the top left corner. Who is that woman staring at me? Also, here's another fun thing. So, remember when I said elevators move on a global timer? If you enter your inventory or any other menu that takes your eye off the game, off the world around you, the elevator will keep fucking moving. So if you're standing on it, and this applies to level 5 as well, if you're standing on it, then it's going to leave without you, and you're going to have to wait for the fucking thing to come back down. Okay, right, catching up with myself. Final level. This has a good few fun tricks here. It's probably one of 2 sigil key skips in the game. So the first one, the first level, with the bridges and shit, right? Where I just jump straight past the bridges. We're going to get a conversation with this girl. If you choose the right dialogue options with her, as I was trying to gauge there, you can actually skip quite a good number of, like, dialogue options with Dagon. But it's fine, it doesn't really matter, so we're just going to ram her off the cliff. Healing myself all the while because there's 2 endgame enemies on either side of me and I don't want to die. She slips out of my face, or out of my view there. See, there he is. We need to kill her for a weapon that we need to actually finish the game. If we don't come here, we cannot finish the game. So we're going to pick up that sword. Apparently it casts spells as well. Lord knows what happens if you use the sword before you actually finish the game, but whatever. This is where jumping comes in phenomenal as well. It's just loads of little platforms from here on out. And then there's just one giant platform in the middle where it's just nothing but fucking... It's just a straight shot up. So you can just run up or jump up, depending on whatever strikes your fancy. There's a specific spot, run up a little bit from here along the path, and you can just run straight up to the top. It's massively convenient, rather than shimmying your way up here. Because if you do this, you're also liable to get knocked down. The enemies can hit you with their AoE effect. The knockback from that is going to knock you down. And there you go. But here's probably one of my more favorite skips in the game. So throughout the entirety of the game, I've been trying to find these sigil skips, these key skips, right? And here is the only other place that I've ever found to do it beyond level 1. The way that these sigils are around the door is that they're like circular. They don't sit right against the door. They hover around the door. They create this small little circle around the door and leaves just enough space to slip in between them and behind them by jumping up on top of the building to get into it. So now this is the final stretch of the game here. We're just having spells lobbed at us at every single second. We're going to be inventorying the entire way through this. I don't want them coming in to get me again, so I'm going to stand here, wait until they kind of kill themselves a bit more, and then when the Etherealness runs off, ram into them there. So we only need to get 2 of the 3 keys for this last bit here. Reason being is we can just jump past, like, 2 of them. Or you can jump past 1 of them, maybe even 2 of them, depending on how well you do. So we're going to kill this guy here, right? And realize that he has the same key as the first lad. So we're going to open his inventory. Oh, he's nothing in what? Ah, yeah, the game does that every now and then. Where apparently it just doesn't want to give you the inventory of these lads unless you interact with their inventory directly. So we find this guy. He's thankfully conveniently smooshed in between the wall, the door, and himself. So he dies pretty quick, and he can't do much anything in return. So he has the remaining key that we need. So we avoid this one here by just jumping over. Thank you, jumping skill. Take the elevator here. Now this we cast Etherealness here. At least we tried to, right? And we're not going up here without having it cast in some form. Because holy hell, it is a mess when you go up there. Here, watch this. Okay, so Etherealness, cast it. Look at all that. Look at them. Hear that. That's terrible. So push these 2 buttons, go in here. Here's Dagon. So before you talk to him, I need to equip this. You need to be fast enough with your inventory. Otherwise, he's going to kill you before you even talk to him. You'll just drop dead on the spot. Flick through the dialogue tree. Try and hit him. Hit him, Nathan. There you go. There you go. That's the end of it all there. If you talk to the seducer that we got the sword from earlier, you'll be able to get a shorter dialogue tree, but yeah. You still finish the conversation relatively quick. And yeah, that is Battlespire. That is an Elder Scrolls Legend Battlespire. The first, and as far as I'm concerned, only Elder Scrolls platformer to exist thus far. And it's not at all subtle or shy about its full frontal nudity, but that's okay, game. That's okay. You came from a different time. So yeah. Thoughts on the run? Fucking terrible. Really, it's a fucking terrible run. At the very least, it could have saved 10 minutes from just not being shit. Could have saved probably another 5 from not having crashed the game about 40 minutes in. So yeah, also the ending cinematic's kind of nice, I suppose. You see the Battlespire coming apart. And it's a nice enough visual for the time. I think it was 1997, 96 when this game came out. I don't know. But yeah, plays a bit like Daggerfall, I guess. Fun other comment to put in there. All the same, thank you very much for watching this with me. I hope you enjoyed the run. I hope you were able to put up with my many mistakes more than I did. More than I can, anyways. And if any of you want to get into the run, if anybody wants to figure it out or join the speedrun forums, you're more than welcome to. I, so far, as of recording this, have the only run up there, so I'm more than willing to like help people figure this game out. I'm rather enthused with this game being my first speedrun game, and almost being like, I suppose, kind of where it starts, in having some of the first run. Got that sense of history to it, but whatever, I'm digressing now, I'm just rambling. Radiosa, thank you very much.